Howdy, YouTube. To all the kind people on YouTube. This is part 3 in this series. If this is a new series for you, please go to episode 1 for more context. Get your cup of water ready, get your bottle of water. Continue to stay hydrated, everyone. So where we left off, in my mind's eye, there's like 5 or 6 participants. And I am, with the warm blanket, have already encompassed the entire circle. Now I'm focusing on each individual at a time for the blanket to really close in on them, on their physical, then to focus on them even more still and kind of have the blanket get even closer to them to actually go into their heart and hold their heart in warmth, right? So I was doing it for the first participant, which I had in my mind's eye already, a friend of mine who's a wonderful woman, and she was there in my mind's eye. And so like I originally planned to do the Wim Hof method, but like once this whole blanket visualization came out, me following the exact exercise of how the Wim Hof method is, it kind of dissipated. Like, oh, looks like we're doing the Wim Hof later, focus on the energy work that's taking place, right? So my breath was whatever it was in the moment, just really deep breaths, no longer doing the Wim Hof method. So I start to bring the blanket closer to her and, hold her heart in warmth. And then after that, what I thought was going to happen was like I was going to like move through each participant one at a time with the warm blanket concept, getting closer to their physical, then even closer to their heart. So, but the ceremony just kind of started to take on a route of its own, and I kind of allowed that to happen. Like a lot of times with like ceremony and ritual, like something kind of, you're moving, you think you want to go left, but divinity says, hey, actually go to the right. Like, oh, okay, I like to surrender to that when I feel it pops up in my field. So instead, what ended up happening was I started performing and an energy healing for this friend that I have in my mind's eye. And like it was as if like her energy body was transported to me, in front of me, or I was where she was, probably the former more so. Like I started to visualize she was there with me in the room, and I started to I guess not me, like air is getting channeled through me because I'm focusing on air so much. So air was working through me to perform an energy healing, and it was so beautiful. I'm gonna get some water real quick. So, it was as if she was sitting crisscross applesauce with good posture facing the speaker, and it's as if she was right there, it felt like, and I was facing east, so we're both facing east because I'm behind her, right? And breathing in the element of air, and I'm creating like this, this warm, oh my god, the warm blanket, right? So the warm blanket had already hugged her physical. It went even further and hugged her heart. Now I was going to hug her mind, her brain, her mind, because what she has told me in the past is that very flighty thoughts, like they kind of just take on their own path, and it's not always suitable towards her growth, what she's thinking. So for me, it's like, hey, like I have a good idea to assist in mending that, to have better thought flow, more meaningful, positive, uplifting thoughts coming in, So the energy healing with that was I actually because now it's an individual process. I feel I tend to do better work when it's one person, because I get to tune into like their energy field, and I get to take as much time as I want with them. If it's a group setting, it's different. You know, there's different ways to go about it. So I'm focusing on her, and I'm actually, you know, taking a bunch of deep breaths, getting all this air ready, and then I start to slowly exhale, but like hot steam exhale into my hand. Like I'm getting my hands warm, you know, because of the warm blanket that's now on my hands is what I'm visualizing. And then I did that a few times. Then I started to, like, you know, when you rub your hands together real fast and they get warm and warm and warmer, like I'm doing that, like getting them warm, because like this is the warm blanket now, you know, I'm warming it up. So like I'm breathing real hard. For me, breath helps me stay present with the ritual, you know. So I'm like breathing real hard, and then like I was still at one point sitting crisscross applesauce, but now that this energy process is getting carried out, I felt the need to kind of like stand up, squat, so I can like move my hands faster, you know, faster, and like I finally got them to the point that I felt it was as hot as they would get. I blew one more time, like hot steam onto the hands, the blanket hands. Then I started to like move them. Like if she was there in front of me, I would have done the same thing, you know, because this energy body is within the physical, but you can access the energy body even if you're not currently present, right? So I was like around the top of her head, like real slow, like not like kind of touching, but more grazing. And I'm like moving around like her forehead, the sides of her head, the back, you know, the top, just like with the warm blanket, you know, like comfort, right? This is comforting, right? That comforting frequency. Then I started to pull more chi from the element of air, breathe it in. Then as I'm exhaling, now because inhale is receive, exhale is give. So I inhale the element of air. Then as I'm exhaling, now I'm visualizing like the blanket going like through her skin, through her skull, and going actually to her brain, and warm comfort all in the brain region. And eventually made it to the point where it was, you know, the warm blanket went all the way to the very center, like her pineal gland, right? So then the warm blanket is there, you know, doing its magic. And then I need a little bit more water. 1 second. So the warm blanket in her brain going all the way to her pineal gland, comfort, right? Soothing. And then at that point I seemed like some chakra work wanted to take place. So now I'm like visualizing, you know, indigo is related to the third eye chakra, and I'm like I started grabbing my own head because it helped, but you know, could have also like had my hands in front of me as if I was moving her own head, very gently, kind of like in a since I'm behind her facing, what I would see is kind of like a clockwise movement of your head, as if you started moving your head to the right, then down, then left, back up, to the right, kind of like that, you know, just to get the to shake up the gunk that's solidified in the third eye chakra, to shake it up. Because now my goal is, okay, I'm gonna move this stuff around, loosen it, like soaking the dishes, right? I'm gonna soak the dishes, loosen off this what does not belong, and it's gonna get extracted, right? So I'm moving her head around, moving it around, you know, paying mind to wanting to do it more gentle and slow, to keep the person in a relaxed state if I was actually holding their head in front of me. And then at that point, there was, you know, it's hard for me to time everything that I'm doing, how long, but you know, I did it till it felt like it was loosened, right? And then now I'm still standing behind her, and I am, for me, I'm working on structure with energy healing, like my physical body structure to make sure the energy flows good. You know, because if you want, you know, you could be all super hunched over with like a limp leg, all leaning to the side and do the energy healing. But for me, it feels like if I'm, you know, in a horse squat position and I'm like with my posture and alignment, I feel the energy flows better, right? So I'm right behind her and I'm getting in position, like spreading my legs and making sure I have enough space to work. And I start breathing in, you know, combined with the element of air. So I breathe in the element of air at first to acknowledge that what I breathe in from her is going to combine with the element of air and exit out my body so it doesn't stay attached to me, you know, not to bring it into my own vessel. So I did that a few times with the element of air. Did that a few times with the element of air. Breathing in air on its own. Okay, the air you're gonna combine with the gunk that's being released. It's gonna get passed through me to get transported out. You know, we're just in the end practitioners, curanderos, shamans, voodoo workers. We're just bridges. We're a bridge. We're just moving from one thing from left to the right. You know, so then I'm behind her and I'm in a squat position with like my right hand palm up and my left hand is like on top of my right hand, kind of a little bit above it. And as I start to breathe in the gunk that was shaken up, I'm inhaling slow, and like my hand starts to do like this wave type of deal. Like I'm sure you've seen like the Hawaiians, how they dance, like how they move their hands, it looks like a wave. That's what I'm doing with like my hand and my arm, because to me it's energy likes to move in waves, at least within my mindset, you know. So I'm matching that, you know. So I'm pulling it out as I'm inhaling, and then as I'm exhaling, I'm dismissing the gunk. Also, too, I need a little bit more water. Also, too, when it comes to like this extraction process, what you're pulling out that is not in the individual's best interest, the gunk, we do our best to see it as like whatever's coming out, we're compassionate about it, radical self-acceptance about what's coming out, radical acceptance, unconditional love, and with a sense of non-attachment. We do not extract and be like, oh, like what the heck is this, and you know, and start to label it and fight with it and contort its essence. No, we just extract it and we let it go. Kind of like the nonchalant, if like the whole non-attachment, as I said earlier, like imagine you were at a gathering or a party, right, at someone's house, and you're walking around, you know, you might be going to the restroom, right? Then one of the owners of the house is like, hey man, like it's getting late, you know, most of the people are leaving. Is that your sweater on the couch right there? You know, he's just trying to figure out whose sweater it is, and you didn't even come with the sweater. You're just like, oh no, that's not my sweater, man. Like you feel like that calmness of the non-attachment, and it's just like, it's just the sweater, it's on the couch, it's not mine. Like it's not a issue. You don't start to label it. It's just like, oh, that's not mine. Like you dismiss it. Oh, that's not my sweater. So that's how we feel about the thoughts and whatever else is getting extracted. Oh, you know, like, you know, with the mix of like compassion, love, and when we dismiss it, it's not like we're throwing it on the ground with like anger. No, just I was actually blowing it off my hands, blowing it off gently, like, and return back to your world return back to your world to which you want to go anyways, where you belong. I'm exiting it out of her reality and this reality, right? So that happened a few times. The extraction process, it was very beautiful. And I need a little bit more water. Oh, the extraction process was very divine. Felt really wonderful to move that out, to dismiss it. And then at that point, I felt the need to now there was like a different aspect of kind of very slowly kind of clockwise spinning the head. This one I did on myself instead of the energy body in front of me, because I wanted to move it fast. And, you know, we're all connected anyways. If I do something to myself, in an energetic sense, I'm doing it to you. So, like, for me, I wanted to shake with a lot of rapidity and force and fast, you know, but I'm not going to do that to the person because it's a bit too fast, you know. So I started grabbing my own head and kind of moving it clockwise, but my consciousness is inside of her third eye, and the way I'm moving my head is like I am having the chakra spin. I'm spinning it up, you know, zoom, zoom, right? Like trying, getting it moving so that I can like jump starting a car. Think about it like that. Like I'm jump starting it, or I'm pretty sure it already is running. I'm just putting some nos in it, right? If that's how you want to think about it. Some high octane, right? So I'm moving my head and visualizing her chakra and getting it moving, right? So then after that, you know, extracting what does not serve her, which in my mind was like the thought forms that are degenerative, negative, if you want to say that. Taking those out, all right, pulled those out. Now I'm shaking my head, spinning her chakra, spin the chakra, spin the chakra. Then after that, I felt like, okay, now it's time to reinforce a solid barrier around her head so that outside forces don't try to go in and step onto the sacred land that is her internal garden of her mind. You know, like in a sense, I vacuumed the carpet in her mind, and then I'm sealing it by closing the doors, right? So that people don't just walk in and step all over with muddy shoes, you know? The people coming in, stepping over with muddy shoes, that would relate to like the ethereal parasites and the entities that don't have your greatest good in mind, that try to influence your thoughts, which influence your behavior, and then your behavior feeds the parasite. So it's kind of like it's a parasitical relationship with how parasites work. Apologies, the dog kind of distracted me a bit outside. I need a little bit more water. Yeah. Oh, I need to check the time on this real quick. Alrighty, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.